How can a wine country be both ancient and brand new? How can a place where vines were planted before California even existed still be considered the New World? South Africa is one of the oldest wine producers outside Europe, yet it's still one of the most misunderstood. From colonial trade routes and world-famous sweet wines to apartheid isolation and a modern-day wine renaissance, South Africa's story is a contradiction in a bottle, and one of the most exciting in the world of wine. In this video, we're heading to the southern tip of Africa to uncover the captivating story of South African wine. We'll explore its 360-year journey, from Dutch ships and French refugees to post-apartheid innovation and global acclaim. You'll learn about ancient vines, rebel winemakers, and why this country is producing some of the best wines you've never tried. Stick around, because what you discover in the Cape might just change how you think about wine forever. A colonial beginning, South Africa's wine story begins during the Age of Exploration. In 1652, the Dutch East India Company, VOC, set up a supply station at the Cape of Good Hope to support ships traveling between Europe and Asia. Jan van Riebeeck, the Dutch surgeon in charge, believed wine could help keep sailors healthy during long voyages. So he planted vines. By 1659, he recorded the first successful harvest, marking the official beginning of South African winemaking. In 1688, the Cape's wine culture took a major step forward with the arrival of the French Huguenots, Protestant refugees escaping religious persecution. They brought with them generations of winemaking expertise and settled in areas like Franschhoek and Stellenbosch. Their knowledge transformed local wine from a practical necessity into a craft. With better vineyard techniques and a passion for quality, they laid the foundation for South Africa's most iconic wine regions. The Golden Era. By the 1700s, South Africa was already making waves in the world of wine, thanks in large part to Constantia, a renowned estate near Cape Town. It was here that Vin de Constance, a luxurious sweet wine made from Muscat grapes, rose to international fame. This wasn't just a local success. Napoleon requested it during his exile, Jane Austen mentioned it in her novels, and King Louis XVI was said to have bottles stored in his palace. In the 18th and 19th centuries, Vin de Constance was more than a wine. It was a status symbol. Often placed alongside the likes of Tokaji and Sauterne, it secured South Africa's place in the conversation around the world's finest dessert wines. Collapse and control. But every wine story has its darker chapters. In the late 1800s, the phylloxera plague, a tiny insect with a massive appetite, wiped out vineyards across the Cape. Just when the industry started to recover, South Africa was rocked by war, colonial upheaval, and poor vineyard management. In 1918, the government stepped in. They created the Coöperative Wynbouwersvereniging, KWV, to regulate production. The KWV brought stability, but it also encouraged quantity over quality. By the 20th century, South African wines had become bulk, bland, and boring. Then came apartheid. With global sanctions in place, South African wine all but disappeared from the international stage. Rebirth. When apartheid ended in 1994, the world took another look at South African wine, and this time, it liked what it saw. Young winemakers, many trained in Europe, returned to the Cape with bold ideas. They embraced terroir. They championed sustainability. They experimented, innovated, and reconnected with forgotten vineyards. In just a few decades, South Africa went from exile to excellence. Today, it exports wines to over 100 countries and regularly competes with the best of France, Italy, and California. A map of terroir. South Africa's wine regions fall mostly within the Western Cape, and they're organized by the Wine of Origin, WO system. This doesn't guarantee quality, it guarantees origin. So when you see WO Stellenbosch or WO Swartland, you know exactly where the grapes were grown. Let's take a quick tour. At the heart of South African fine wine is Stellenbosch, a district known for its scenic beauty and world-class vineyards. Home to iconic estates like Cannenkop and Meerlust, it's a stronghold for structured Bordeaux-style blends, bold Syrah, and the country's signature red, Pinotage. Nearby, Franschhoek and Paarl bring both elegance and history. With a legacy rooted in French influence, these regions are celebrated for their Rhone-style red blends and expressive, full-bodied wines. Just outside Cape Town lies Constantia, South Africa's oldest wine region. Cooled by ocean breezes, it excels in producing crisp Sauvignon Blanc, and it's also the birthplace and rebirth of the legendary Vin de Constance. In contrast, Swartland is the rebel of the Cape. Known for its dry farm bush vines and natural winemaking philosophy, it's home to innovative producers like Eben Sadie, who've helped put the region on the global wine map. Then there's Elgin and Hemel-en-Ard, two cool climate pockets ideal for Pinot Noir and Chardonnay with finesse and purity. Meanwhile, regions like Robertson, Tulbagh, Overberg, and Darling Round out the picture, offering everything from affordable sparkling wines to refined, age-worthy Syrah. Grapes with a South African accent. South African wine is both familiar and different. You'll find classic international varieties, but with a distinctly local twist. On the white side, Chenin Blanc rules. Known locally as Steen, it comes in almost every style imaginable, from bone-dry to sweet, still to sparkling. Some of the best come from old vines in Swartland and Stellenbosch. Sauvignon Blanc offers vibrant citrus and coastal salinity. Chardonnay, especially from Elgin and Hemel-en-Ard, can rival Burgundy with its finesse. Add in Colombard, Viognier, and Semillon, and you get a rich palate for blending. On the red side, Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Syrah are staples. But the real wild card is Pinotage, a South African invention, born from crossing Pinot Noir and Cinsault in 1925. People either love or hate Pinotage, but done well, as in bottles from Cannenkop, Ashbourne, or Beierskloof, it's rich, smoky, and unmistakably South African. Stars in the cellar. Let's spotlight some must-know wines. South Africa isn't just making good wines, it's producing icons. At the top of that list is Vin de Constance from Klein Constantia. This historic sweet wine, made from Muscat de Frontignan, was once the toast of 18th century Europe. Today, it has been brilliantly revived and is once again recognized as one of the world's most luxurious dessert wines. Lusciously rich, yet balanced by vibrant acidity. Then there's Sadie family wines, the benchmark for South African innovation. Columella, a powerful Syrah-based red blend, and Palladius, a textured white blend, are among the most collectible wines in the country. Both reflect Eben Sadie's focus on old vines, dry farming, and terroir-driven minimalism. At the core of classic red winemaking is Cannenkop's Paarl Sour, a Bordeaux-style blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and Cabernet Franc. Known for its aging potential and polish, it's often compared to first-growth Bordeaux, at a fraction of the price. If you're into Pinot Noir, look no further than Hamilton Russell Vineyards in Hemel-en-Ard. Their Pinot is Burgundian in style, with bright red fruit, earthy minerality, and restrained elegance, consistently ranked among the best in the Southern Hemisphere. Meerlust Rubicon, launched in the 1980s, is a pioneering blend that put South African red wine on the global map. With its Bordeaux influence and cellaring ability, it helped reshape the country's post-apartheid wine image. For lovers of spicy, powerful reds, Bokenhoutskloof Syrah delivers richness, depth, and a cult-like following. Often scoring high with critics, it's both bold and beautifully balanced. And let's not forget the new wave. Boutique producers like Alhite Vineyards and Crystallum are redefining South African wine through low-intervention techniques, native yeasts, and an obsession with terroir. Their wines are fresh, expressive, and sought after by sommeliers and collectors alike. These aren't just good wines. They're a snapshot of South Africa's creative energy and identity. Style and substance. South African wines offer a rare balance, New World fruit and Old World restraint. South African wines are known for their balance of structure, freshness, and personality. Take Chenin Blanc, for example. It's the country's most planted grape, and for good reason, producing styles that range from crisp and mineral to rich and oaked. These wines are often textured, layered, and full of depth. Bordeaux-style blends made from Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and others are another highlight. They tend to be structured yet fresh, offering both age-worthiness and early drinkability, especially from Stellenbosch. In cooler regions like Elgin and Hemel-en-Ard, Pinot Noir shines with elegance, red fruit, and gentle spice. These wines have gained global attention for their precision and restraint. South Africa is also known for its white blends, often combining Chenin Blanc with Grenache Blanc, Semillon, or Viognier. These are thoughtfully crafted wines offering complexity and a clear sense of place. And then there's Méthode Cap Classique, MCC, South Africa's version of champagne. Made in the traditional method, MCC offers fine bubbles and excellent value, with many bottles rivaling champagne in quality. Alongside these classics, a new wave of natural winemakers is growing fast. They work with old vines, use native yeasts, and keep intervention low. The result? Wines that are raw, expressive, and uniquely South African. More than a label. Since 1973, the Wine of Origin (WO) system has helped drinkers trace a wine source. South Africa's Wine of Origin (WO) system is organized into several levels: geographical unit, such as the Western Cape; region, like the coastal region; districts, such as Stellenbosch; and ward, for example, Simonsburg, Stellenbosch. A single vineyard designation is also possible and is increasingly used for premium wines. Wine labels may also display certification seals. IPW indicates integrated production of wine and sustainable practices. WHEAT ensures ethical labor standards. OBP signifies vines older than 35 years. And MCC is used for traditional methods sparkling wines. These aren't just marketing. They reflect a deep commitment to land, labor, and legacy. So is South African wine old or new? Is it European or global? The answer is both, and that's what makes it special. It's a country where history and future meet in every glass, where ancient vines produce modern masterpieces, where winemakers are rewriting the rules and inviting the world to taste something bold, balanced, and beautiful. So next time you're choosing a bottle, skip the obvious. Reach for a Swartland Chenin, a Stellenbosch Pinotage, or a bottle of Cap Classique. You might just discover your new favorite wine. If you enjoyed this story, hit subscribe, give us a like, and let us know in the comments. Which South African wine are you dying to try? Because the Cape may be at the bottom of the world, but its wines, they're right at the top.